If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso.
The reason I own Bitcoin is it's an asset, like a property, like a home, like a piece of land, like a piece of art that is unique, like a watch that's one of a kind. To me, it's not a currency. It is not that efficient to use as a currency. So I still have a 5% weighting in gold, in bullion, and in ETFs, and I look at Bitcoin the same way. So yes, you could be concerned, but it is such an inefficient, so inefficient as a currency, there's probably going to be something that works better.
Hey guys, so I was doing some math today and I actually want to go over some jaw-dropping figures with you. We're going to be looking over Kevin O'Leary's gold holdings and speculate on some other positions that he could be in. But first, let's get a summarized background on Mr. Wonderful. I feel like this is important because I don't ever want anyone to feel like they can't be successful. So let's get this super summarized story of how Kevin O'Leary grew his net worth to $400 million. Everybody got your pinkies up? Okay, good. Now let's break this down. Kevin was born in Canada. He grew to love photography and film, which helped out because his first venture was special event television. Two other students he knew helped him in this venture. He later sold the venture to those students. Kevin used that money for a down payment on a home in Toronto and purchased a computer. This all happened around 1986. With that computer, O'Leary started a software business. He and two new partners were rolling in dough only 10 years later. After they started the company, O'Leary would later need to ask his mom for a loan of $10,000. He wanted to expand the company, but one of the partners who pledged $250,000 backed out last minute. With the $10,000 Kevin got from his mom, he was able to build SoftKey software products. With that small loan, Kevin and his partners took SoftKey software products to the next level, producing close to $1 billion. That's billion with a B. $1 billion in sales. SoftKey then kept growing by targeting and purchasing rival companies. Eventually, they moved the headquarters to Boston. This is when SoftKey Software took the name of one of its acquisitions, The Learning Company. The company was later purchased by Mattel Inc. for $4.2 billion, but the company was in trouble not too long after. They started losing money and faced shareholder lawsuits. O'Leary was fired but got to walk away with a $5 million severance package. This is how Mr. Wonderful was made. Now, let's skip ahead to today. Kevin's net worth is around $400 million, give or take. He has a very unique strategy to investing. His strategy is how I calculated the amount of gold he holds today.
I never let one asset class ever become more than 20% of my net worth. Discipline is every 90 days to trim back anything over 5% and put it into something else that you've decided to go into. No sector more than 20%, no stock more than 5%.
Now that you've heard how Kevin O'Leary invests, we can actually calculate his gold holdings. This is actually the exciting part of this video. He's admitted several times that his holdings in gold are always around 3 to 5%. Right now, Kevin has 2.5% in physical bullion that is held in a vault and 2.5% in GLD.
Why are you holding any gold at all? I'm holding gold because it's an asset class that has been called that since the Romans mined it. It has a very long history as an asset. I'll disclose how I own it. I own 2.5% weighting in bullion, which I pay for storage, and I own the GLD, which allows me to balance to the 5% every quarter. Now, the GLD also charges me fees, but it's a liquid asset that I can use to rebalance.
Now, I know a lot of you won't like the idea of holding paper gold, but the reason for GLD is because it's more liquid for him. So when there's this much money being moved around, it actually kind of makes sense to hold some of that paper gold. With these numbers, we can calculate that Kevin has about $10 million in physical and $10 million in paper. With today's gold price at $1,903 at the time of this video, this would mean that Mr. Wonderful has about 5,255 ounces of gold in physical form. Holy cow. Now that's a lot of gold. If that makes you feel the need for more gold or silver, call our sponsor Tony at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Exchange. Lock in your price today by calling or texting 888-667-1836. Of course, I threw a shameless plug in there. Now that we've got our shameless plug out of the way, some of you might not like this, but I would really like to talk a little bit about Kevin's holding in Bitcoin And we can also speculate if he holds some silver, and if he does, how much. So stick around because that'll be at the end of this video. Mr. Wonderful has publicly stated that he owns 3% in Bitcoin. So 3% of his net worth is in Bitcoin. That equates to about $12 million, and it equals a little over 378 Bitcoins. He also holds other crypto assets and is currently investing in startups focused around DeFi projects. Regulation or not, Kevin believes crypto is here to stay. I wanted to bring his Bitcoin holdings up in this video because I believe it's important to diversify your assets. You don't want all of your eggs in one basket. You should have a hedge against your hedge, if that makes sense. In other words, when one sector is down, another could be taking off. Right now, gold and silver should be performing for us, but these assets are not performing as expected. Meanwhile, cryptos and certain stocks are still performing relatively well. Every 90 days or so, Mr. Wonderful goes into his portfolio and makes adjustments. Even if we don't use his exact formula, I feel we should be doing something similar. Now let's move on to pure speculation. Again, this section of the video is pure speculation. I'm not sure if Kevin owns any silver, but it is in the precious metal sector, and he has been making a lot of investments based on a greener future. Now, we already know that silver is highly needed in today's world, but we also know that silver is going to be heavily needed for this green future. Let's pretend that he owns just 2% in silver. That would be around $8 million worth of the precious metal, and that would equate to 287,669 ounces of silver, with spot price being at $27.81 around the time of this video. So again, I'm not sure if Mr. Wonderful owns any silver or not, but being that it is in the precious metal space, and he tends to kind of invest in different groups like this, I would speculate that there is a small holding there. So again, that's just a fun part of the video, you know, to think about the fact that he could own that much silver is kind of cool. And I want to say that the point of this video, it's not to make anyone feel small, but actually to encourage you to keep investing and to possibly diversify your holdings in future investments. I'm extremely bullish on precious metals, but with all the easy money floating around and crypto added to the equation, I feel as though it wouldn't be smart to miss out on an opportunity. Remember, your cash is becoming worthless by the day, and certain assets or holdings can and should be used as investment vehicles to get into more or better positions as time goes by. Now remember guys, if you liked this video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you hated this video, hit the dislike button, and I guess feel free to leave a comment below. Love or hate it, I'd love to know why. So that's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me.